This was easily the best 9x12 method live training call that we have ever had. You would think that it was scripted because it is 2 hours of straight ridiculous value. We basically started with the 3,000-foot view of the entire business and then just got deeper and deeper and deeper into different ways you can make higher levels of income with this business. It's just ridiculous. There's so many great things that came out of it. And that's the beauty of our community, is it's just an ecosystem of crazy ideas that can possibly work and then do end up working. Like, it's crazy how far we've come with my basic little course to now this ecosystem of far, far deeper conversations and ways of truly turning this from a side hustle to a massive business. And we even go into talking about how you can grow your assets, like email lists, all sorts of crazy stuff. It gets better as the video goes on and is great from the beginning. But yeah, get your popcorn. Get ready to sit down for a while because this is 2 hours of straight action. Let's go. How's it going, guys?
Good morning to you.
Can't complain.
How's everyone's week?
Not bad. Wasn't as productive as I would have liked, but hey, anything's progress, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, did you do any outreach yet, or still trying to figure out?
Yeah, I've been trying various things. It's not worked, but I did have a good meeting this week with the area's Chamber of Commerce ex-executive director, and he's very open to a partnership with myself. So he loved the idea of what I got going. So I'm looking forward to that.
That's awesome. I've heard that a lot of people are getting a lot of success out of the Chamber of Commerce and all those different connections. It's definitely helpful because then you don't have to do as much outreach if people are doing the work for you.
Exactly.
Yeah. I never personally did it. I just blast emails, to be honest. That's why this group is so great, because I keep things simple, but a lot of people like to find a lot of other cool avenues to get business, and other people are spreading that in our group, which is awesome because I can't spread all those ideas because I haven't done them myself. So it's been very cool to see what people are doing, because there's
Yeah,
definitely
I'm not
better
seeing
ways than email.
yeah, I'm not seeing the email thing work right now. I don't know what it is. It's like, and I email market, like I have experience in email marketing too, and it's just like ghosts. Like the business is just nothing. So
Yeah.
I don't
Are you
know,
getting any initial responses? Or are you saying they ghost you like after you pitch them?
nothing. I'm not even getting a response. Uh,
Huh.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's just like nothing.
Is your
So I don't
experience
know.
is your experience in like cold emailing, or is it nurturing a newsletter typically?
Mostly nurturing affiliate marketing and stuff. So I'm focusing more on like the front side of that. So putting together like a podcast focused on local marketing and stuff
Nice.
and everything. And I got an event Tuesday with the chamber. Actually, they invited me to. So um, it's probably going to be. I'm just going to focus on getting through the chamber first, and then figure out everything else, and maybe test a couple other markets outside the chamber's reach. To
Yeah,
perfect the email approach and stuff. Um, See what happens.
for sure. Definitely bring some sample cards if you have them to that event, because they sell themselves when you can show it in person.
Yep, for
Yeah.
sure.
When you're going to the chamber, do you go in person or by phone, or how do you do it?
So the meeting I had the other day, the executive director actually came to me. He sought me out because he heard I was in town, and the guy I rent my office from, it's his father-in-law. But so he wanted to come meet me. So it was kind of cool. But the event will be in person, and they do a lot of in-person events for the businesses and stuff, like networking events and stuff. So it'll be mostly a lot of in-person stuff. I actually got an opportunity to possibly rebuild the website too and manage some of their local marketing with that related to that too. So
Thank you.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's my favorite part about this business, especially for like agency owners, is it's the best foot in the door. Like, it's a it's something that they don't get pitched 24/7. Like, I'm a business owner. I do real estate as well, and I'm always getting pitched by web designers trying to sell me a new website or refresh my website. And of course, I mean, if I get dozens of those a day, I'm not going to respond to any of them probably. But this is something new, so it's at least a good, I call it a Trojan horse. It actually gets you in the door, and then at the end of the month, when it comes time to either renew, or you can add on other services. So pretty cool.
yep, exactly.
Did anybody get my email newsletter yesterday? I want to make sure that all delivered. Awesome.
Yep,
Great. Finally got that
When's
sorted
that
out.
CRM going live?
Hopefully today, but
Nice.
at worst tomorrow, and it's only going live to the wait list. We don't want to completely overload our system. So if you're not on the wait list, definitely join that. But should be going out today or tomorrow. Fingers crossed.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
definitely excited for that.
I was
One,
going to build one, and then I saw you have one. I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll just wait because some of the systems out there, like a lot of your like pipeline and even like Trello and stuff, it's good, but it's like it's not focused enough on the business. Like for people that are just doing like 9x12, like I can
yeah,
see the value of just having a CRM specific to that. And I keep trying to customize existing solutions, and I'm like,
yeah. You'll definitely see similarities of the best parts of those CRMs that you mentioned. And then we just added in integrations with things that you would never find in another CRM, like the card management feature, where you can actually build out your templates with a custom like triple slot, double slot, single slot. You build it how you want it. And then you can actually activate a campaign. And when you make a sale to one of your contacts, you can actually attribute that slot and you can see their ad slot on the card itself. And
nice.
it's a great way to keep track of everything because you can't really visualize it on a spreadsheet.
Hmm.
But so that's my favorite feature. And then of course, like we're just trying to make it so you don't need any other tools to really do this business. Like you can send invoices from there, it's connected to your Stripe account. But yeah, there's all kinds of cool stuff. I'm excited for it. It definitely, when I first ever posted about it a couple months ago, I expected it to be a lot easier of a process. And then we just kept adding features and wanting to add new features. And then once you add new features, actually connecting those features gets a lot more complicated. So it gets exponentially harder with every feature you add. But I
Right.
feel like we're at a good place where we have all the features you could possibly need and none that you don't. But we also have some really cool ones coming in the pipeline further down the road. So I'm excited. It's a journey. It's a journey. Not totally necessary, especially if you're just starting out to use a CRM. I would just get your foot in the door with good old Google Sheets like I did, and then once you've actually like validated that you want to do this business, maybe the next month, then jump into a CRM so you're not a total mess because it gets messier every month that you do it. So eventually you might want to.
Right. I'm such an anti-spreadsheet person, though. I'm a web developer, and I have a full-time web development job. So this business is an add-on to that, and I'm actually trying to transition to this full-time versus coding. I like to code more of a like a personal like what I want to do. I don't like being told what I have to code.
Yeah,
So building it aside, so it's like I'm so anti-spreadsheet. That's why I'm like, I just need some system because there'll be days I need to know where each person I'm prospecting at the moment is in the pipeline of what's going on and who needs what and everything done. And I also wanted to perfect the system because as I scale, if I bring somebody on, I want the system that I've determined to work have a auditable track, right? Not just give somebody a spreadsheet and said, go sell this or
yeah,
anything like that,
yeah, totally.
So, but having a system built, I'm pretty excited to just check out the CRM and stuff, and see how good it is.
Yeah, yeah. I'm proud of it. I'm proud of it. Um, and obviously my developer partner did most of the heavy lifting for the development side, which is a blessing because I started on my own and quickly saw that it was going to be too much for just me. So, well, one thing that I noticed, my dad actually got into doing this recently, and a strategy he's using is instead of so when a prospect ghosts you after you pitch them, so you pitch them, you give them the price and everything, and they disappear off the face of the earth, instead of emailing them, like I've always recommended you email them, say something very simple like, "Hey, have you had the chance to consider?" Leave it at that, just so they can give you a simple answer back and not waste anyone's time. But my dad's been actually calling them, and I think it's brilliant because it's easy to get your foot in the door with email, blah, 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 but most likely they're going to ghost you. But when you actually get on the phone with them after you had this email conversation, it's not cold anymore. So you can just call them and be like, hey, just calling about the conversation we had over email about the spotlight. I don't want to give that spot away to another plumber before I hear back from you. So just curious if you had the chance to consider. Dear, and once they hear your voice, it's so much less cold. You don't sound like every other salesperson in their email. but you also didn't have to cold call
Right.
them right from the start because you got your foot in the door with email. So that's just a strategy he's been using, which is pretty cool. And usually when people ghost you, it's either because they forgot about you or they think you're just every other salesperson trying to sell something over email. So you fix both of those things by following up, and especially over the phone. William, when did you start doing this? I feel like I haven't seen you at the meetings.
Yeah, so I joined your group probably about two within the last couple months. I actually tried the 9x12 system like way back in like 2020. Uh, but I was working construction. I just was like burnt out by the time to focus on that. So I put it away and I moved down south here to North Carolina. And it was always my intention. That was like 3 years ago. And it was always my intention to get back into it because I really liked it. And yeah, so I started back on it about 3 months ago, kind of planning and really determining if I can, because where I live is very remote. It's 20-minute drives just to a semi-small town, right?
Mm,
So, it's
yeah,
coming over those things. But with COVID, it was like, well, email, like everyone says, COVID kind of opened the doors to email. Like people are much more open to emails
yeah,
than prior to. And I was like, it's just time to just get it on and try it. I mean, and there's really no advertising in the area. Uh, Actually, the executive director yesterday told me that like the cheapest option for any local businesses is like a contract of like $1,000 to $2,000 a month in basically newspaper ad, or there was a really shoddy like online advertising option. Real. It was like no.
yeah,
Nobody's doing that.
yeah. What's the
So it was
population
like
in?
the nearest the region I'm kind of doing it by county because I have to get the numbers up. I cover the whole county to get 10,000 people. Half the county, which works perfect because I can do half the county at 5 and the other half at 5. So I'm actually selling it as 2 5s, but a discount for doing the whole county. So I fill 2 cards because I'll
Oh,
mail
cool.
it separate.
Yeah,
So I'll lose. I do the double minus 100, and then but it fills the card for another month, so it's like less prospecting. So it was worth it to me. So
yeah.
and I have a couple other routes or areas that I'm looking at. I have two bigger counties that I'm actually splitting up into smaller routes within that, so I'll have multiple mail-ins within there. Um, because it's hard. But those are so far out, I don't have the option to go out there all the time to put the feet on the pavement to prospect.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Have you thought about bringing people on to do that for you?
I have. I kind of want to get that first 10,000 campaign out of the way.
Huh.
Um,
Yeah,
and then start looking at call it the street team.
the street team. Yeah,
It's tough because it's like, how do at that point they become the face of your business, right? And if they're not good, if they're not the way you want them to be, if they're negative or they give bad vibes or something, or they're just rude, if they can't make a sale or something, that's on you. But
yeah,
those are growing pains, right? You when you get there, you overcome that. So
totally. And yeah, you definitely want to meet with them and probably meet a few before you actually choose one at least, because I've made the mistake of meeting somebody once and then just like going through a honeymoon period with them and then doesn't turn out as great as it seemed at first, because it's easy to have
right.
one good conversation with somebody and then you find out who the real person is behind those
Uh-huh.
eyes.
Yep.
And I like that you're doing 2 cards in the same county and discounting to join both. I feel like that might be easier to sell than like selling a double slot on 1 card. Because like I mean a double slot's, yeah, it's a bigger slot, but you're discounting for more reach rather than discounting
Mhm.
for a larger slot. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I actually have like a few questions. Just give
Hmm.
me a moment, guys. And if that's okay, I'm just like raise my hand virtually in here, and then I'm gonna go ahead and ask.
Okay. Sounds good.
Perfect.
What kind of a discount should I offer for 2 cards? I'm in a big city, Minneapolis, big city. I've done a total of roughly about 50 emails so far, and I've gotten 0 returns. So I was thinking about going to the next city over, which is St. Paul, Minnesota, doing the same thing over there and offer a discount to be on both.
Yeah, I'm not sure what William is offering for a discount. I personally, if I were to do it, which I think I've had advertisers do that between my cards, which are close together, I would just offer the $100 discount if they bought both slots, which
Okay.
I'm sure that's close to what William's doing, but can't speak for him.
Yeah. So the way I do my discount, I start off with offering up that hit the whole county for double the price minus $100. But then if they're still hesitant, I'm willing to go down. I'm willing to go at top. Like I want them as an advertiser, right? The value is long term. So even if I don't make money on them on this edition, I've got a one-on-one with them. They know me, and now the door's open to doing solo campaigns, or they need print in, or they need something else, or they just want to get in on another card down the road. They're already there. I don't have to cold prospect. So that's value. So I'm willing to meet my costs. If in the closer I am to the end of a card, the more aggressive I'll get with the discount, right?
Sure.
And looking at the over profitability, I just look at my numbers and know where I am. Like I don't care if I give everyone a discount as long as my costs are covered, right? Because at some point I will break into profit because through less prospecting, another service. I have other mail-ins like I do. Welcome to the neighborhood. I'm putting together deals for like coffee shop and stuff for like people that have birthdays and stuff to hit them online. I've got a platform going online that's going to kind of combine all this and stuff. So that's where my value is. So really, I would just look at your business, right, and say, okay, what can I afford? And if what you can afford is what you can afford, simple as that.
Sure.
They will appreciate discounts. So don't start too low. Don't start with too big of a discount, right? Make them a little, feel them out.
Yeah, I love that. I was reading a book yesterday, just about that. And once you figure out your customer's lifetime value, which for us, we're lucky, we're charging a good amount of money. So our customer lifetime value is at least $500 because at least they're going to join us and if you're using my prices, it's $500 to buy a slot, then they're going to pay you $500 and then maybe they'll renew. So on average, your lifetime value will be over $500. So if it's over $500, in order to get them on board, you can spend $500 and still make a profit from that customer. So obviously you don't want to lose $500 on a customer, but you can afford to lose money on your first interaction with them if it means bringing them into your ecosystem, like William said, and potentially, selling them on another month or upselling them into other services like web design. And it's just about getting the data to figure out your average customer lifetime value, seeing how many people renew after that first card. But I can tell you it'll be pretty high. You can get away with a lot. But like he said, don't know your worth and don't discount right away just to discount.
Yeah, I'm Riken. I'll jump in here real quick. We took a different approach. We kind of play hard to get, kind of, we don't offer tons of discounts. And when we do, we just do 10%, right?
Yeah.
And so we have a 300, 500, and 900 slot. So that's only $30, right? $50 or $90. But we hardly ever offer it, mainly because I've realized that if people spend money on advertising and they understand what we're doing, it's a no-brainer, right? And they realize that and they go, well, yeah, I'll pay you $500 for this, right? And so I've offered discounts for like referral discounts. Or if they have two businesses, sometimes I'll offer a 10% discount to get both of them on. But even at that, I hardly ever mention it. And I kind of play like we've got a waiting list, or there's only a couple more spots, but and they kind of jump on that. They're like, okay, well, let's give it a shot, right? So that's how I've approached it, because we truly are providing them an immense amount of value for a very, very little. Right. So
Yeah, we're basically dividing their marketing costs by almost 10. So you're right. We're
yeah,
providing a ton of value.
yeah, we just filled up our second card this week actually, and starting on the third one. That one's about halfway full. So we found a lot of success so far. What's cool about the first card we sent out was, we put a QR code to our website, and we got 5 leads from that, closed 3 of them, and got a referral from one of those. So we essentially got $2,000 for directing them to our website, right? So
Nice.
Bad.
Do you have a payment? Do you have like a payment button on your website and they just bought right away, or did you get like phone calls from it?
Yeah, so we do have a payment. We use Card. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Card. Super cheap.
I think I've heard of it.
It's really just a landing page. It's not multi-pages, right? Anyway, we do have a payment button on the website, but we just have like a inquiry form, right? And that's where we got the 5.
Yeah.
I get notified right away when they submit that, and call them within the minute, and pretty much closed them on the spot there. A big win for us this week. I got to go here soon. So, but on Thursday, so I'd been messaging people, not getting a lot of response. And then Thursday, I closed 4 in the morning, and then 1 in the afternoon came back that I hadn't talked to in probably 3 weeks. And they're like, "Oh, hey, yeah, we got 3 businesses and we want all 3 of them on." So that was a big win. And we actually had to turn down 2 of them because the card was full. So,
not a bad problem to have.
Not a bad problem yet. So we got them kind of locked in for the next one.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's crazy how you can have the driest week and then all of a sudden make like 5 sales in a day. It's kind of annoying. It's so inconsistent, but
yeah, they had ghosted me for at least 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And I hadn't heard, I kind of gave up on them, right? And the card went out near their business, right? And so 3 weeks ago, it's been 3 or 4 weeks ago since the first one went out. I had emailed all the businesses around where the card went out, and said, "Hey, did you see your neighbors on this card? It looks pretty awesome. Here's a picture of it." And like specifically pointing out the business, like their neighbor, right? That was on the card, and had some success with that as well.
That's sweet. And is this what you do full time now?
No, no. I'm a CPA. I'm the director of finance for a company. Got the 9 to 5, but I do this kind of in the morning and at night and throughout the day when things trickle in. I'll blast out emails. I've only done emails. In fact, I've maybe talked to 3 people on the phone, and all 3 of them have called me. Because I have that 9 to 5, I just don't have the time. And I'm a CPA, right? I'm not a salesman at all, right? Very introverted and stuff. So, I just keep it to emails and Facebook.
Yeah, same here. I'm introverted too, and that's why I always just did emails. But it's not the quickest way, but if it's the only thing you can get away with doing, then might as well do that to get the foot in the door, and then they'll call you if they want to talk. But gets the job done.
How often do you follow up with a business that hasn't replied to you in your emails?
So, I mean, I'll send my first one, and then I follow up maybe 2 days after, 2 or 3 days after, and then maybe another 2 or 3 days after that. Maybe that might be it. Maybe I might follow up 2 or 3 times. Um, Mainly because it's a numbers game, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kind of blasting it out there, right? And those who see like it's probably the biggest thing I've learned is those who see the value in it will go, yes, right? Like it's not a uh it's not a huge expense to at least try, right? So I've had a lot of people that are like, oh, I don't really know. Let's give it a shot, right? And yeah, so it's just I mean, I'll blast out. I don't know how many I've done, but hundreds, 200 maybe. Actually, the first one was probably 150 or so to fill up the 16 slots. I have 16 slots. So
Not bad. Do you give them details in that first email, the whole thing, or you just kind of
no,
like my first email is like, hey, I'm putting together this mailer for the area. I think your business would look great on it. Can I send you the information on it, right? Like real
yeah,
super quick and short. Is that like the type of email you send in?
yeah, it's pretty much it's very similar to that. Yeah,
Interesting.
and then um, I use Facebook uh, community group. The city community group that
Mhm.
I've found most success with. Most people are a lot of people are asking for referrals for everything, right? A landscaper, a roofer, whatever it is.
Right.
And I'll just go into those comments and I'll just hit up everybody that's been referred. And I say, hey, I see a bunch of recommendations for you, right? Like it looks like you're one of the top in the city. Uh, can I send you more information kind of thing? Hits them with their pride, it gets their pride going.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you
the
cold
very
outreach on
first,
Facebook outside of that?
yeah, say that again.
Do you cold outreach on Facebook as well, or just through the comments like that you tag?
I don't do anything in comments. I take it direct to DMs. So I've
Nice.
never commented on Facebook. I'm just kind of poaching off of everyone else's recommendations and stuff.
Hmm.
And I
Cool.
would be very careful with the Facebook messaging because it's even more sensitive than email when it comes to like going to the promotions or spam tab on Facebook. So when you're like he's doing, he's really customizing his messages. So he's not just copy and pasting 20 in a
Yeah.
row. It's really sensitive. So if you're going to do Facebook Messenger, definitely make them more custom.
Yeah, it's templated, but the first paragraph, the first two sentences, I'm, giving them some praise, right?
Mhm.
Um, and then I'll put their business name in the message, right? Like uh Bob's Roofing, right? Like I think it'd be awesome to have Bob's Roofing on this. Just want to see if you're interested, right? Um, so yeah, it is customized, but it is also templated, and I haven't been flagged or anything. So, and I also don't blast out 100 a day, right? This is
Right.
maybe I don't know, 10 in the morning, wait a couple hours, do another 10. I don't know.
How many emails do you send out at a time?
I've done less emails, but uh, similar to that, right? Like I've got maybe five. I'll maybe do five,
Really?
right? Wait a little while. Do five more at lunch. Do five more at after work. Things like that. Um,
I'm
but yeah,
using
most.
four email addresses and I'm sending out 5 emails to each one. So roughly
Okay, yeah,
20 in the morning, 20 in the afternoon, and 20 in the evening.
yeah,
And
nice.
I guess it's my email because so far I have not received a single one back. So I'm going to try to rewrite the email again.
You haven't received any responses? How many emails have you sent?
Uh, Roughly 20 a day,
Total, like,
a week.
so you've sent like a couple hundred emails total?
Um, yeah, I guess pretty close to 100.
Mm. Okay, so I mean, email is a numbers game, and you shouldn't be going to spam if you're using 5 different email addresses. So it could possibly be your script, but 100 is just borderline not enough data to really tell.
Mhm.
So I'm curious what your script is, but also there's just a chance you're unlucky with these first 100 emails because it's a
Sure.
small amount. It's definitely not, there's not a high reply rate on email, maybe 3 to 5%.
Right.
Check your subject line. I send out cold emails for a living, so like check your subject line because maybe depending on how it's landing, if it's landing in spam, because I don't know how your email setup is, but if your email's connected to a domain, your DMARC records or your security records are on there because Google is really blocking and sending emails to spam if they don't, because they'll scan for the security records. If they're not attached, your emails may not even be getting to people's like inboxes, so maybe that might be a problem too. I just don't know how you set it up. So if that's set up correctly, then you're like, okay, security stuff is set because they are scanning the emails.
I'm
So
sending
it
out.
might be
Sorry.
so. Oh no, no problem. So
I'm using all Gmail. I'm not
okay,
using the
so if you,
company at all.
okay, so just check because they're really scanning for security records now and blocking out emails like tremendously. So always check for that. Might be a subject line. I don't know what you kick it off with
My subject
when
line
you
is
send
just
out the
quick
emails.
question.
Okay, usually that works, but like, just experiment with your subject line, see if you get some opens.
Sure.
Also, small businesses tend not to check their email as often, depending on the business too.
Right.
A lawyer and accountant, if I email them, they're more likely to open because that's the nature of their business. But if you're going after a restaurant or bakery, less likely. So I try to DM those more
I
so.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Couple more tips, and I'm gonna bounce. I found success in new little strip malls, right? New little developments of restaurants or pediatrics or whatever these little ships. Right now we have one that has probably 5 businesses in this new development, and they all want on because their neighbors are on it, and their neighbors are on it, and people are coming in, right? And so I found success in that. And then I also name drop a lot, or like, hey, I came in and I loved your enchiladas, whatever it was, like just something super, super quick. But again, it tugs at their pride. Like, it's like, oh, okay, this guy really does come in. He does like our enchiladas, right? I'll respond to him. Or, hey, I was driving by your car today. There's been multiple times where when I'm driving, I'll take a picture of their car, right? And send it in the email, right? Like, hey, I was just driving by you. I think you'd be awesome on our card, right? I've texted people that I'm driving next to, right? Like literally at that time, saying like, "Hey, I'm right next to you." It just kind of it makes it like I'm a real person, right?
Mhm.
And I'm a real business, or not a real business. I'm a real person, gathering businesses, not too corporate-y, and I've found success there. So.
Okay.
That's some awesome advice. I like that. Texting them while you're right next to them.
Yeah, it's been fun. I've gotten two. I've closed 2 by doing that. So
Wow.
I used to sell restaurant advertising before this, and I've done that a lot. Driving
okay,
next to somebody and copy down their phone number right off the truck.
yeah,
And that is a very powerful way, but currently I can't drive, so I'm just, everything's got to be email or phone.
if you can find the name of the business owner or front desk person or something, name drop them as well, right? So I'll dig just a little bit, not tons, but I'll just dig a little bit to find out who works there, and I'll name drop somebody.
Looks like Daniel has a question. He has his hand raised.
Actually, I might have a bunch.
All right.
First of all, Nice to meet all of you. It's my first time being on one of those calls. As many, I don't know if anyone of you knows, I'm from Germany, so I'm not located in the US. And it's been a ride. Let's just call it this. I started like 3 weeks ago, and right now I'm kind of in the process of moving into a different state within Germany. So I believe one of my biggest mistakes in that was starting the car while moving. I totally, I probably thought I could do this within like a week or two while doing all that. And well, let's just say it didn't work out that well. Because I had to pull out the time out of like acquiring customers, and like my momentum got lost like 3, 4, 5 times. And as many of you might know, momentum is like everything. When you try to like sell something or literally anything in a kind of set amount of time, momentum is basically everything. For me, I've been in door-to-door direct sales for like 4 to 5 years. And this was basically the best days when I was just like building momentum and then keeping it in this kind of momentum flow state, going from door to door, like closing, maybe getting some coffee and then just hitting those doors again. And this was what was getting me success. And now it's basically, I tried to come up in the state, but it didn't work because I had to pull out my time and stuff like this. So anyways, my card is gonna like contain 14 ads, and right now I have 6 closed, and it should go out in like 1 week. So yesterday, I was told by someone that looked into basically combining 4 or 6 spots together. He initially was interested in taking up the whole backside, but I didn't really want that because I kind of want the card not to be like one single advertiser, but like more like space on the backside, even if it's like just 2 or like 3 smaller businesses or smaller slots. And so yeah, yesterday, one of my last days of being able to acquire customers from like the door to door stuff, I was probably like spending 5 hours running from A to Z to make mock-ups and designs for this customer who spontaneously asked if I could bring him those mock-ups so he can like decide and stuff like this. And when I brought them, he basically I'm not quite sure. Maybe it is the price. Maybe one of you guys has an idea whether it was about the price point or anything else. When I told him the price points for like the combination of 4 and of 6, this was basically 2 mock-ups. One with like a picture of his stuff for like 4 combined spots, and one for like 6 combined spots. I told him the price, and he was like, "Yeah, sounds good. Let's maybe do it in August or September." And I was like, "Bro, you for real?" I'm spending like 4 hours because you're like, "Oh yeah, let's do this. I'm really interested in like." He knew that this campaign was going out in May, June, and basically this kind of really frustrated me because it was a real setback. My plan for yesterday was completely different. I had like a list of businesses that I want to hit up. It just really didn't work out, and I'm not sure if it is really because he thinks he doesn't have the capacity right now, or if it's like the pricing thing. So one of my questions is, when you, how you give discounts?
Do the mock-up. Don't do
Sorry?
the mock-up until you get a deposit.
Sorry?
Don't do anything until you get a deposit.
Okay, gotcha.
And the
Yeah, I would be
deposit should
careful.
be at least 50%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who will act extremely excited at first and then disappear off the face of the earth. So you want to protect your time, like he's saying. And if they're not, especially if they don't even know the price yet, because that's a lot of times when people disappear is when you tell them the price. I wouldn't spend time building their ad until they at least know the price and they still seem interested. And what industry is this business in?
It's basically construction. It's like they do everything inside and like even outside of the house.
Gotcha. So they might they might be, I don't know how the seasons are where you live, but they might be either trying to target their busy season or right after their busy season when things start to slow down, then they'll have more cash in hand. So then they know they'll be able to pay for the advertisement. So that might be why they wanted to wait until
Yeah.
August.
Probably it's like the second one because right now is actually like the busiest season for most of those kind of like around the house
Mm.
construction businesses here in Germany because like people want to get their houses ready for summer. Some of them are doing like the bathroom remodeling and all those kind of things, or like completely new designs and all this kitchen, blah blah blah. And this is basically exactly what they do. I got a few other customers in this, or actually two, that do constructions, bathroom remodeling, and stuff like this. And it's literally the perfect season right now for them. So just as you said, probably it's because the prices were too high for them right now to pay.
But I bet
Which
you
is,
they're not doing any work until they get a deposit. They're not
yeah,
building a bathroom until they get a deposit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
gotcha.
I'm curious, what's the price for the 4 slots, for example, that you were talking about with them?
I basically gave him a discount of one complete spot because I was like, just dude, it's a nice local business. I have like no effort at all, like for acquiring those 4 spots, so I can combine them. It's a huge time discount for me, and so I basically would have given them for like 1.5
Mm.
in euros. So I don't really know what it's right now in US dollars, but it's approximately like not that much of a
2000.
difference.
Yeah. Yeah, based on their response, it doesn't really seem like it was the price. It's more probably the season because right now they might have more work than they can handle. They might not need to advertise, but they know that in August things start to slow down, and that's when they want to push the advertising possibly.
The thing is, it can't really be this because literally where I met them was like a local market when I was spontaneously inside of like the beginning of the old town of the city where I live in. I wanted to go to another business, and this was when I saw, okay, there's a market and there's like loads of businesses, local businesses, and stuff like this, showcasing the work and like just with stands and like whatever. And he was literally advertising there. So that's how we basically started talking about all that. So he was there for advertisement for probably like the busy season right now. So that's why I didn't really understand that he kind of flipped. I'm just not sure what it was because like could be anything in my head right now.
Yeah, another thing that sometimes a response I get sometimes is we've already spent our whole marketing budget for Q1,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
maybe in Q2. So a lot of the larger businesses they have infrastructure they can only spend a certain amount. They only are yeah. So they're only allocating a very specific amount to marketing, and if they've already spent it, it doesn't matter how good the opportunity is. They're just not able to. They're not authorized to. So if it's a bigger business, that could also be it. They already spent their marketing budget to be a vendor at that place maybe.
Fairly small. I would say like I don't know how many guys of manpower, but I would say not more than 6 or 10 at least.
Mm,
Like at least 3 of what I could tell from the stand, but like not more than 10, I would say. But
gotcha.
one question that I wrote down here is how long would you guys, because I'm trying to plan ahead for the next card, and I will definitely not do the same thing again. How long would you guys plan to fill out like 14 slots approximately?
I always give myself a month. That way it's just a monthly mailer.
Okay.
If you want to be more safe on your first one, because it takes a little bit longer to fill up your first one, maybe do. I mean, if you're doing door to door, you'll probably fill it up quicker than I even do because I do all email. But to be safe, you could say 6 weeks for the first one, but never give them an exact mailing date or anything like that. I always give myself a 2 week period. So if I know I want to mail it out on May 15th, I'm gonna say I'm mailing it mid to late May. That way I have 2 weeks of extra time.
Mhm.
Okay, okay. Yeah. Okay, I just have basically one more question which has like two combined in one. Considering that I will move in like 3 days from the city where I'm currently living in and where the card is going to be sent out in, um, and considering that I don't use any kinds of social media anymore, like besides of TikTok, which is another story, because I'm kind of creating something there for myself. But has anyone of you like tips outside of social media, like anything outside of social media and email marketing? Because we can't do cold emailing in Germany. It's literally illegal, as stupid as it sounds.
You have a Chamber of Commerce?
Yeah, I do.
Get the list.
Try to partner with them.
Sorry?
Try to go down to your chamber of commerce and talk to them about it. Most commerces are in it to help the business and the members of the commerce, and that's including you. And if you like, I just met with the executive director of mine, and we're looking at possibly a partnership. He's going to send people my way. I'll send people his way and the other members' way, and that's how good stuff there. I actually I don't know much about Germany's mailing system, but one of my tactics I've just implemented is I send a sample kit to the higher value for the potential businesses that I do for my business as higher value than like a coffee shop. I send a packet with the 9x12 sample in it, a customized label, and a couple other offerings to get their attention. I'm kind of testing that right now, but it might be an avenue if you don't want to get into email marketing. It increases your cost to acquire a customer, but I think for me, we're doing something in the mail, right? So to be all digital and then sell them something non-digital is kind of weird in my eyes. I like to, my company's called Still Works Media, right? Because mail still works. So I figure if I hit them where I'm trying to sell them on, it looks good. Not that email doesn't work, because I am trying email too. But so that might be an avenue for you to give a shot. And just looping back to your construction guy, I would try to write up an intent to purchase and put them on a payment plan up until that mailing date to lock them in, because that way you're guaranteed that and they can't back out without the financial cost. Because people will just say anything, and then when it comes down to it, change their mind, right? That they're interested, lock them in. Get a contract that says their intent is to purchase, advertise, and this is the price, and put them on a payment plan up to that date and collect the money, and then it's good. Would be an option for you to go to.
Okay, that sounds good. I wrote something down about this. Right now, since I'm like in a kind of not that small of a hurry, but it's kind of a big hurry, because like I have like 2 or 3 days left being here in the city. So if there is any one of you guys like going door to door and having like, I don't know, any like tips for like leverage or something like this. I've read something in one of the chats of the community about like malls. The problem here is there's like one mall in the city. It's like the biggest mall. So here in Germany, this is kind of different. There's not a mall here and a mall there. There's like one per city, and like maybe a smaller one in the next slightly smaller city. And those are all like big corporate, like private equity owned, like stores with like franchisees and like whatever. It's not like local businesses. It's like more, I don't know. It's just like very, very different, apparently, as it is in the US, which is sad because I like the concept of like malls in the US way more, which is like, as far as you can correct me, but as far as I have seen it, basically, more or less local businesses compounded onto one spot, so people just have to like go into one big business to collect all the stuff that they basically need from local businesses. But
one of the angles to go with your mall, you could try to get a hold of the controlling. It's very, you'd have to go very up to corporate, but try to partner with the mall to do ads for the mall, which in turn is value to their the building or the businesses that pay for that rent in there, you know? So you're trying to just have them basically, you know, and then they do let them because they'll have the contacts for all the big companies that are in your mall, right? And now, you know, whether it's an add-on service or an option or even, you know, maybe there's something, maybe there's nothing there, but I think it's worth a shot to try to just get a hold of that person and go to the highest level and then see, because they may not want you to do solicitation within the mall anyways.
Yeah.
So if you can go to them and say, hey, look at what I'm putting together. Look, my theory, I haven't tested it obviously, but they're a mall. They need people to come visit, right? And people know the mall's there, but it's not always top of the mind. At least I know in, you know, nowadays. So they may be open to doing some more local stuff. I know the malls in my area are more and not so much in my area because there's no big malls, but the one that I go to, they're very localized. They're very involved in local matters. So, you know, it's always worth a shot. And the worst case is say they're not interested, right?
Yeah. I didn't really think about that until now. I wrote that down. Thank you so much.
Sure.
So
Do
are
you
you
guys
saying
have
there's no
festivals
like,
over there?
Sorry?
Like, do you have like, you know, festivals and fairs? So like where I'm in Houston, you have a lot of pop-ups, festivals and fairs. And so I go sometimes to the organizers because they're the ones who approve all the vendor lists and everything else. And usually they're really open to anybody who has a way to get more out about, hey, that they're having a pop-up. Like there's one that's happening tomorrow. They have it every second and fourth Sunday in two different locations. So like they're always looking for someone to say, "Hey, we exist." So they're usually very open.
Got you. There is not that many like here, but there is some, and I will definitely contact them like ASAP after the call. This is gold. This is gold
Yeah,
because
through
they.
them you'll be able to get all the other vendors because they approve every single
Yeah.
vendor. So you'll get them, and then you'll get if they have 40 vendors, you get
Yeah,
access to all 40 vendors at a time.
it will be crazy leverage. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
how far are you moving from your current city? And are you planning on doing a new card in that new city, or are you keeping this card going for next month?
I plan on doing both, depending on how this one is working out right now.
Mm.
So the city that I'm moving to is basically 90 kilometers away. I don't
Mm.
know how much this is in miles, but it's like
It's like half,
1 hour, one and a
kind
half
of.
hour drive. It's
Yeah.
not that far away, literally. But the cool thing is, the city where I'm moving to, the spending power is like crazy there. Like one of my customers from web design, when I visited him and pitched him on the card, um, we sat down and I told him I'm moving there, and he was like, "Oh, you're moving to Lindau," and he's like, "Oh, you got to start the same thing over there. They have like crazy spending." And he showed me basically on Google Street View all the like big industrial parts of the city. So I will definitely do the same thing there with a more flexible timeline and without the hurdle of being moving while I'm doing this. But yeah, I will definitely do it.
Yeah, it's definitely helpful to choose a place with higher spending power. I've definitely
Yeah.
seen the difference between a city with higher average income and a lower average income. Even if they have the same exact number of businesses and same exact population, it's definitely easier to sell in a higher spending power.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The city where I live in, it's not even that they don't have the spending power. It's just weird. They're just weird. Like Bavarian people in general, but like especially the city where I live is really close to Munich. It's really,
Mm.
really far south in Germany. And the people are like special. Let's just call them special. They have money, but it's like this phenomenon of wealthy people. They are the ones using discounts, not the people living in like the big 80 unit buildings and stuff. It's like the wealthy people here using the discounts and like, can we do like another discount? This is how it's like here. And so they are really, and the businesses as well. So they really, it's hard to explain, but I'm really glad to be moving out of the city. Yeah, let's just say this.
Well, it's exciting. It can only go up from here. And the first card's always the hardest to fill. So the second card, in this city might not be necessarily as difficult. There's
Yeah, no,
all kinds of momentum because the referrals, a little bit
yeah,
more brand awareness,
yeah.
repeats. That's like the
Yeah.
trifecta that makes it a lot easier. Not totally easy, but a lot easier.
Something that was really stupid by myself as well was like I shut down my web design and marketing agency's website completely, like probably 2 months ago, something like that. And instead of reactivating that for like the next couple of weeks so that something is online, I basically rebranded my complete business while starting to sell the car, which was completely stupid because like moving, rebranding myself, plus filling out the car, it's like didn't work that well. Like 3 buckets, and it just didn't work that well.
Yeah.
But I believe, yeah, I believe this will actually help a lot. This festival stuff and like the mold stuff. I believe this festival stuff, or like generally like maybe even concerts or anything like that. I will definitely tap into that. This is leverage.
Yeah, events definitely are a good play because there's always you just got to find a place online that what's it called? A directory, an event directory of just events that are in the future within the next few months in your area. That way you can get them on your list.
This would be pretty easy to combine with like a good little offer or like promotion code, whatever, via QR code or something like this. Really easy when I think about it. Yeah, we'll definitely do that. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much.
Of course. And if you need QR codes, I think Will Bradwell in our group, if you message him, he created a tool that like I think it tracks QR codes, like so you can easily track what all your customers clicks, what they're getting for clicks and scans.
This was what I'm
Thank you.
What's his
thinking.
name again? Sorry.
Will Bradwell. He's in our group. You can message him, I think.
I was thinking about that like for 5 to 6 times because I've created a bunch of those QR codes, but I'm using high level since like 1.5 years now, something like this, and I didn't really tap into what they provide in terms of like QR code that much. I don't know if there is like a possibility to do that also, but I will definitely tap into that.
Mm.
And if not, I will just contact. You said Bradwell was his last name.
Yep. Bradwell. Yeah.
Well, gotcha. Okay. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thanks for all the questions.
You're welcome.
All right. Anybody else have anything?
I had a question.
What's going on?
So maybe I'm overthinking this. I've been doing a lot of getting ready to get ready, but I live in a city that's a population of 300,000. So 5,000 mailers doesn't seem too spectacular to me to be showing businesses.
Yeah. So okay, so it's hard to describe. So 300,000 is like you said, is a pretty large number. So typically, I'm just going to use Boston as an example. Typically, you wouldn't say I'm sending 5,000 mailers to Boston. You would typically say I'm sending 5,000 mailers to the North End, like a specific neighborhood in Boston that might be 50,000 people. But when it's more specific and targeted, then the number of mailers doesn't seem like a drop in the bucket because you're right. 5,000 mailers in a population of 300,000 doesn't sound like much, but it's also not just about the number of the number itself. It's about the value. So for example, online advertising, Facebook ads, you pay per 1,000 views. So just because a business can't hit the whole city of Boston with their Facebook ad doesn't mean they're not going to run Facebook ads. It's just about the cost per 1,000 views, which I mean, $3 per 1,000 views probably on Facebook. But yeah, so it's about the value. It's not about the overall number, but definitely focus down to a specific neighborhood. And if you're in a city of 300,000,
So
or
would
a
you
specific zip code.
would you just try to find like the most prosperous zip code or something closest to all the business centers?
So there's kind of two radiuses. There's going to be the radius that you're mailing to, and then there's going to be the radius of potential businesses that would be willing to advertise. So the radius that you're mailing to would be a specific zip code, but you can still reach out to businesses that are I typically say within 15 minutes drive of that zip code. Those could be valid businesses, and it'll depend on their industry, but I just usually draw a circle that's within a 15-minute drive of that zip code, and those will be all my target businesses. Did that answer the question?
Yes, I've just been overthinking it. I'm just going to start reaching out to people. I'm sure some advertisements better than none for a lot of, especially small businesses.
100%. It's about the value that you're bringing. I mean, typically to send this amount of mail, it's going to be a few $1,000s. And so you're sending the same amount of mail for $500. And they're splitting it with non-competing businesses, which makes the mailer stickier because potentially some of these businesses are offering discounts, and these people who are receiving the card in the mail can't use these discounts all at once. So instead of the card getting thrown in the trash, it gets kept on their refrigerator, on their counter, or worst case in their junk drawer for a few months, which is better than just getting thrown in the trash like most junk mail. And the top businesses in your region already send junk mail, so it must work. So why not use something that's even better than that junk mail? Use the 9x12.
So
I want something to add on that because it's interesting. My city is like exactly the same amount of population, exactly like 300,000. And what comes with that is probably like something right in between like a really small city and like something like really big monopole cities with like millions of people in there. But the infrastructure is like, in my case at least, more going to the direction of like the bigger cities than in the direction of the smaller cities. So kind of what I know I don't have the proof of concept yet by selling out one car completely, but I just can add onto that what I found out while like going door to door and talking to business owners is that once I started really making sure that they understood that I decide where those cards are getting sent out to, like exactly like the zip codes and like even smaller areas than like the whole zip code. They was like thinking, okay, this is really mindful, and like they started. I could sometimes see how they started like thinking, okay, this might be the demographic that is perfect for our business. What I wanted to say is basically, I think it's very important to just paint the picture in their minds that you, as the vendor of the card, is, are basically really thinking about who the demographic is for the people that advertise on your card, which would be the perfect like demographic to send to. And once you create this picture, it's getting a real thing in their minds. This is really helpful just for me when I go talk to people.
Definitely. Yeah. For example, know that a painting company most likely is going to want to advertise to single family homes and not advertise to renters. So that's just one thing. Definitely helpful to think about what they want. And on average, in most cases, it's going to be targeting homeowners because a lot of your advertisers probably will be home service businesses, or at least some percentage of them. But yeah, I just want to emphasize it's not about the number of mailers, it's about the amount they're spending for the amount that they're getting. So if they're spending $500 and it's going to 5,000 doors, they're spending 10 cents a door. That's what it's about. It's not about the fact that they can't hit the whole city.
Yeah, my verbiage on in the area I'm trying to fill is I can hit everybody in the entire county for 9 cents a house. That's how I pitch it. I don't say I'm going to send it to 5,000 or 10,000. I say I can hit the whole county or half a county for you. What do you want to do? And
That's helpful.
trying to because part of my circulation or distribution, I'm even starting to use the word distributed rather than mailed. It sounds a little fancier in my opinion, but I will actually have extras printed and I'll drop them off at locations around the routes and even outside of the mail-in routes to cover a little additional as well. So they're actually getting more than what I'm actually selling for.
Yeah.
But I have to. I felt like I had to because of the size of the area I'm currently targeted. My bigger cities, like I have a bigger city route that I want to open up, which I won't have that problem, and I won't be able to get to for in-person delivery, handouts and drop-offs and stuff. So unless I had, like I said on previous call, I hired my street team to handle that for me. Dreams.
Yeah, you should say that you actually hand distribute them, because it wouldn't be wrong. The mailman uses their hands to put it in the mailbox. So
There you go.
sounds
Yeah.
even fancier. Someone's got a train.
Shut my sound off. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. It's pretty cool to see this working in different countries now. Is the
Really,
mailer, are you able to do a 9x12 or is it a different size?
I can show you. Wait a second. I was just yesterday, because I kind of had the obstacle not to find the right copy shop or print shop that was able to because I'm printing on 300 grams per meter, and I wanted to to go get a sample, but I didn't really want to order 100 of them, because in my head it was this is stupid. Why would I order 100 of them? They will never see a single home. They're just I just need one basically. So I
Yeah.
didn't do that. I just printed some flyers, some crappy little flyers that wave in the wind like this, like a bird. And yesterday I literally found, just through God's grace, not because I was going heavy on Google or whatever, just literally because I searched spontaneously because I wanted to create those mock-ups for the one business owner that I told you about. And it's just looking like this. So it's, yeah, well, you won't see that. Wait a second.
I can kind of see the outlines, but
Yeah,
yeah.
no, you can see it.
Oh, yeah.
It is not 9 to 12. It's
Mhm.
I don't know in inches, but I can post it into the group later on. It is quite fairly as large as possible to, without a problem, fit into the place it should fit into. Because here in Germany, we don't have those beautiful rolled up mailboxes. We basically have just literal boxes. So people
Slots.
sometimes go a little bit rough on them, and so I didn't want to go the full size. So basically, they don't get completely damaged and destroyed before they even reach the potential customer of my
Gotcha.
customer.
Yeah. Yeah. And another thing people do door to door is there's a guy named Michael in our group who got really good at this. He put together a whole sales packet, kind of like what William's doing, but he's mailing it. But he brings sales packets door to door. That way, if the owner or the decision maker is not there, at least you can leave something behind with information. That way, the decision maker at least gets prompted to hopefully call you.
That's so
I made
good.
this flyer. I'm gonna try to show it to you. It's an 8.5 by 11 flyer that I'm leaving around various locations. So when I go for asking people, hey, can I drop off my mailers when I mail them here? I'll ask also, can I, would you mind me hanging this? Because a lot of the shops in the area have those community boards. I'm like, hey, can I put this up there? And, usually they don't have a problem with it. So I made this little flyer here, and it's actually part of the kit that I give to a business owner to as a quick little look. I don't want to overwhelm them with all that information, but I really am. I just ordered I just ordered 1,000 sample cards of my sample card, because I'm gonna just hit the street. I'm gonna go Mitchell just says, I'm going to go door to door and bring the packet myself. I mean, it saves me about $1 or something on postage, but if I can talk to the business owner, that's going to put icing on the cake. But I want to leave something. That's why I was mailing my packet, because I just can't actually get to all these businesses. And a lot of the businesses aren't actual like show up anyways businesses, right? They're run out of people's homes, and they don't necessarily have that shop, they're service based. So it's like, how do you overcome that? I don't want to show up at someone's house. It's weird. It's just, without being invited, I feel like it's just intrusive. So, but that's why I use the direct mail system. I've done it, I'm no stranger to direct mail. I used to run a magazine back in the day through direct mail, selling ads. So, but yeah, I think the packet is really nice, and it's kind of like what I would send. It's a little bit beefier than what I would send with somebody that replies to my email that they're interested in the mailer. But for me, again, I'm not just doing the 9x12. The 9x12 isn't just the revenue stream I'm going after, anyways. For me, the value is my other stuff. I can do web development. Been doing it for many years. I do web design. I do email marketing management. So there's a whole bunch of services I can sell a business, right? So the 9x12 is like instant value for them because it's going to get their business in the mail. We're gonna be talking about their ad. I'm gonna give them ideas. I'm gonna be able to say, hey, let me look at your website, right? Let me redo your website. Let me put a landing page for your business, right? If they're taking bookings, right? Put the QR code, link to the optimized landing page. Bam, upsell them on that. And then they're paying for that landing page even if they don't run the ad afterwards. And they're in my ecosystem, like, hey, Will, I need a new landing page, or I want to target this neighborhood. Let's do something, So it's like the lifetime value of that customer. So that's if you're not going that way, that's cool too, right? The 9x12 sells itself, but for me, it's my entry point. That and the welcome to the neighborhood in directory versions of the system.
Same thing that I'm thinking about. I don't know if any of you has experience with this, but I was thinking about I don't know. I probably won't be able to set everything up correctly for the first one, but from the second card on, I just thought about building kind of a hybrid system with the card on one side and the possibility of building this digital ecosystem of website or landing page and newsletter via WhatsApp, email, SMS, whatever. I don't really care on what channel, for B2C people that receive the mailer, so they can basically scan the QR code, which is saying you want to receive more offers out of your local area on a monthly basis. Scan the code and insert your email or whatever details. So I can literally, because I was thinking about, there is two ways for me. I can treat this as just a side hustle, or as something that I could literally possibly at some point, if I don't want to keep doing it, and if I build up a huge list and stuff like this, maybe even exit at one point of time. And I think this would be a real valuable asset, having I don't know, even if it's let's say 300 people that basically monthly receive mailings or SMS newsletters, or after a year, 1,000 even, from your brand, from the brand or the project name that is behind the card. If you want to sell it or whatever, it's basically a really, 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 I don't know. It's just a big thing in my head right now. If
Yeah, so what you're saying there is kind of something I'm doing. I'm doing with mine is I've got part of so I'm doing kind of rebranding myself. I went at this a different approach a couple months ago, but I decided to I was running everything through my name because I call I'm very digital focused, but I decided to kind of link it with I hate using the word directory, right? But it's going to be an online. It's going to link what you're saying, the physical ads with online presence with a consumer base that can interact with those businesses post mail-in, right? And everything funnels from my mail-ins into that. Every business that mails with me will obviously have a lifetime membership on my website, free ads, again, they're in my ecosystem. Hey, what's up? You need an ad. It's going to have coupons, deals above what I can fit on a mailer, right? And now my goal is to open that up to other 9x12 mailers as a add-on that they can offer their people, so that in whole, it's a valuable resource as everyone. And I've got portals for specific regions, so I'll build up a page specific to the routes that I'm making, all about that town or the area it covers, very specific. On that, I feature the local mailer. So in that case, it's me because it's my website right now. So there I am. Hey, need your, you want a physical ad in this area? Bam, click this. Now, for my other people, I'm sorry, I'm not making this a sales pitch. This is the idea, not trying to sell anyone on it.
Yeah, it's perfect.
And that page will feature the next mail. So like if Mitchell wanted to, put his area on there and his businesses, hey, Will, I want to put, this area on there. Let's put a page together. I build that page out, feature him. His businesses will automatically show as the featured businesses there. And it just creates a nice little community. And it's just, a benefit to advertising with us and added value, because you add value that doesn't cost anything. It's tremendously valuable to the end user, the end business. So that's what I'm about, is how can I add value to something that exists that's not going to necessarily cost me huge amounts of money, but add more value to a business and make this decision an absolute no-brainer. So I don't end up with people, I don't really have the money. They don't even have to think about the money. They're like, oh my God, I'm going to be here. I'm going to be seen on Facebook. I'm going to be seen on other socials. I'm going to have my business is online. I've got physical mailers. Like, it's a complete package. So that's the thing that I'm looking at. And, unfortunately, all that takes time and money. And, you got to start somewhere, right? So man, that's where I am.
That's crazy, because it's literally what I was thinking about, but kind of already developed. It's really crazy, because I was like, in my head, I was spinning that around and around, but like right now, I'm contemplating, would it be like of value to at least, like, I don't know, it's so easy to like set up a small like pipeline in a CRM and like create a QR code and like capture some, at least if it's just some emails or like phone numbers, don't even do anything with it, but just like get the data. So I can use it even like 2 months ago. If they opted in, it doesn't really matter when I will hit them. So this
An asset.
Exactly.
yeah, literally. And this is what I'm thinking about, because if some people, and it's crazy because my background is like in digital marketing, in sales, and like in web design, and like still like some people with like 45 years and like up try now, when I pitch them on like print, try to tell me, yeah, well, the new stuff is digital. Bro, I know. I'm literally trying to link both worlds. I've grown up in all of this, and it's just like sometimes I'm like, not this again. Okay, anyways, let me explain it once more. And with
I had
this,
a lady at the bank the other day when I opened my bank in for my business. She goes, "Why?" Because my original name, I was using American Mailbox Mailer. She's like, "Why did you choose a name with mailbox in it? Everybody's abandoning the mailbox." I couldn't respond. I was blown away, because the first thing I thought was, why do you send my statements in the mail? Right? It's like, what are you talking about? Where's even the basis of that assumption? I was like, this is unreal. I couldn't respond. I was like, okay.
It's hilarious because like I'm very much into direct mail. Like I write sales letters and all that crap to go out to the mail. So, and it's like for example, the Agatha Christie books of the Perot, she wrote Perot and all that stuff. They sell in the US through direct mail. They sell about $80 million a year in books, direct mail. Only direct mail. This is no boxes. It's like, here's the form. You like Perot, you like this, whatever, and you sign and you send a check or whatever, and they mail it to you. Like it's like $80 million. They do anywhere from 50 to $80 million a year. Direct mail only. In the US only.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Another one that I always plug. Do you know Anderson Windows?
Yep.
Yeah.
Use their name. Like you ask them if they know Anderson Windows. Do you know Anderson Windows? Why do you know Anderson Windows? Because they send me mail every day. That's why. because the mail works. They
Yeah,
are the window company, probably the only window company you can even name, and it's because they send you mail. Like,
Yep.
there's nothing more
That's a good
powerful than
point.
that.
and you
That's a
see
good
them
one.
book bags, they like to have the kids' names on it, and it's like Lululemon, whatever it is. They only sell direct mail. Like it was either like they do every so often, like around Christmas time, they'll do a QVC like TV ad. But otherwise, the only way you can order those backpacks is direct mail, and they make over $100 million a year just straight direct mail in the U.S. That's it. That's all they do.
I think
Yep.
people just forgot about their own mailbox. I don't even know. I had literally the exact same situation yesterday when I was pitching. It was like basically a header. He's selling hats like handmade quality hats and stuff. And I was talking to him. I was pitching him, and same exact thing I was talking about right now. Like probably like 50 years old, and he was saying like, "Oh, no, I don't think this is this is working anymore." And I was like, well, why is Aldi and all those other big names? I don't even know if you guys know it. It's basically a discounter, a huge one in here in Germany or out of Germany in whole Europe probably. And like then he started thinking. I was telling him, hey, the thing is exactly like every the thing is, I believe just there is Jake said this sometime, and it is exactly the same thing. Like we all got stuff in the mail, what is that is advertisement for something, but it's just like from those huge brands where you never really think in your head, if I'm like just making like $1,000 a day and not like $100,000 a day or euros in my case. I could tap into print marketing. I could hit my whole town with like printed advertisement of my services. This is not something people really think about, but like they're getting their bills, they're getting like whatever if they sign up for something. Hey, so cool to have you on board. They get all that stuff via their mailbox, but they don't believe in it until they understand it. That's
Yeah.
I
The reason
think
why we don't see small businesses in the mailbox is because of the price tag, right? That's exactly
Yeah.
why the nine
exactly.
by twelve is
Yeah.
it's so grand for any business is because of the price tag. We can put their business in front of it, and I think a lot of the direct mail hesitation or even negative feedback is that people don't do it right, right? You know, sometimes you've got to sell by not trying to sell in direct mail. A lot. So over the last couple of years, I focused on MMO type offers and affiliate offers, trying to convert direct mail leads into email leads. Worked brilliant when I wasn't actually trying to sell anything, right? You hook them and then you tell, go here. And then you get on a list and then you soft sell them, you nurture them, and you sell them. So that's where my experience is. And that's why I'm kind of excited about 9 to 12 because it's a little different, but it's a lot of the same. Like, maybe I have to, do a little more nurturing than I expected. But am I going to tell you direct mail doesn't work? Absolutely not, because people don't consider the actual cost of digital marketing because they don't know. They see the amount of people that will be willing to pay 60, 70, 80 cents, if not more, for a lead click versus that amount for somebody that's distracted, right? That's the big thing. Like online, they're probably in a video. You probably just disrupted their video that they were watching, so they're not really looking for you. When they go into the mailbox, they're looking for the mail. They're attentive. They're subconsciously looking for what's in the mail. They're not doing anything else but looking for what's in the mail. That's why direct mail's powerful. And then this thing comes, this 9 by 12. In our case, like you said, I know your size is different. There it is. No pages, nothing to flip, ads. And you know what? It triggers because somebody's going to see the HVAC company like me. It happened to me. I forgot I had to service my heater system, just the maintenance service. It was working fine, but it wasn't on the front of my mind. And I saw an ad for an HVAC company. I was like, I need to call somebody. Who would I call? The company I saw. Done. Right. And there it is. It worked. And if I didn't need it at that time, then with a monthly mailer, you're always refreshing that business. It's always top of the mind. And that's how direct mail works. You know, and I think that's part of the whole journey of selling businesses on this is explaining the difference between what they're getting and, you know, their exposure versus turning that into results. Like, are they going to get sales? More than likely, but that's not what you're selling. You're not selling sales. You're selling the exposure. It's up to them, their business, to convert them into dollar bills. And for me, part of my service is to help them with that, you know, transition through a digital footprint or something. But, you know, that's what we're selling, the exposure. And there's no better exposure than hitting 5,000, 10,000 people in their immediate area for their business. That you can't. It's a win for everybody. And I forget who said it earlier. Those that see it will know it right away. You won't, you know, you won't have to sell them. It's just going to be, yeah, let's do this. Might have been you. I'm sorry. I just so much information in this call.
Not to mention, it's literally an alien in the mailbox, right? Yeah. That might go away eventually, but for example, there's a big company that sends out blue envelopes with discounts, and I'm sure when that was first a thing, people were opening up those envelopes, but nobody's opening those anymore. They know what's inside. But this, like, nobody gets this in the mail. It's a shock. You basically can't not like just look at it out of curiosity. So at least for the next few years, that's going to be huge because people are just going to be shocked by it. And the other thing is the U.S. Postal Service released a statistic, and I'm probably completely butchering the statistic, but it was just as shocking as what I'm about to say. So we already came to the conclusion that we all know Anderson Windows because they send out mail. So direct mail works. But at the same time, since 2000, the amount of mail that the USPS has processed has decreased by about 80%. So now we know that direct mail works, and now it's 80% easier to get noticed in the mail. So it's even better now than it ever was.
Kind of a digital gap, if you ask me, because like everyone and their moms and grandsons and granddaughters and whatever is running towards digital. And like, okay, fine, but it's so oversaturated. If you want to like really make it even local, there is like at least like in a town like in the size of like the place where I live in right currently still, there is like 30 like not that big, but like bigger agencies for like web design and this and that. And everyone has like local clients. Even if it's not hundreds of them, few dozens. And it's like, if you want to really make it in there, you're going to think out of the box if you're really going to make it. And if not, it's hard. Of course, winning projects and stuff is possible. But like, they're just like, some companies, they don't even have the best web design. They don't even have the best responsive web design. They don't even have the best mobile optimization and like whatever, the best layout and typographies, whatever. Not the most beautiful websites, but they sell them like bread and butter because they have like the network, because they're on the market since like people had like one photo as a website in like 2000. It's just literally that. And if we're in this market since back then, of course you are like established as like the go-to for the whole niche of like the more conservative, like 50, 60, 70-year-old business owners that just want a website and that have no clue what a website actually is. Because it can be just like a flyer, or it can be literally like a machine that helps you sell your stuff for every business. And the funny thing is, here in Germany, I don't even know if that's a thing in the US as well, but those, wait a second, let me unblur my background once again so you can see that. This here is the biggest competition for the stuff that I'm doing right now for the cards. And this is like freaking magazines with like where you have to like do this until you are at page 10 or 20 or something like this. Yeah. And then there's like something to read. Here's an ad. Here's something. Who does this? Like people have TikTok brains. Even like 40-year-old people have TikTok brains, and still there's like people spending like 300 euros in here. This was like another thing that I heard from like 2 or 3 people. They were saying like, yeah, I can go and be in this magazine for like $300, and I was like, yeah. And if they send out to like 5,000 people, you will get seen from like 200 because no one is taking the time to read through all that.
Yeah.
This, you
Yeah,
have
there's
to
a
turn it around.
magazine here that sells, well,
Yeah, literally, it's,
the watch carrier in there. They spend $6,000 for a half a page to be
yeah,
in a magazine that is direct mail to, I think, what
yeah,
is it, like 15,000 people? And you spend
yeah.
about 6,000 for half a page,
Imagine, like,
like
but who sees that?
clockwork.
Yeah,
Goes out
yeah,
every
yeah.
month.
Like, really, it's a part. Those businesses are like in there every month, or like maybe some of them have like contracts even for multiple years or something because of like huge discounts. We're in the like 5 figures, 6 figures that they're spending like over like I don't even know 5, 6, 7, 8 years or something like this on one spot in one magazine because they think it's the best form of like print marketing. But it's crazy to me because who is taking the time in this day of age to like read through all this from those 5,000 or 20,000 people? Maybe it is 1,000 people, like older, elderly people that have the time to do it. But like most people, they just don't. They just don't. They throw it away right now. Like they
Mhm.
receive it, it's hitting the bin right like 1 minute after. But in this case, it's much more honest because you get this, as Mitch said it basically. You see this side, you can't even not turn it around because you
Yeah,
just
exactly.
it
Yeah,
is like this surprise box that is appearing on your doorstep. Ooh,
Yeah.
what is in there? I gotta check it out. I can't throw it away right now. It's not possible. It's just not possible. And now I'm gonna start yapping.
Love it.
have you ever? Hey Mitchell, have you ever done a card like a specialized card with the same business on it, like a season, kind of like a seasonal thing, where the same business might be on it, same categories, kind of like let's
Uh,
say like a landscaping version of a card or
yeah,
something.
I haven't gotten super creative, and honestly, that just kind of limits you. You're kind of just
Mm,
putting up barriers for yourself when it's already, it's not super easy to fill up a card. So putting more
right.
barriers on isn't, I don't think it's going to make it easier to sell a slot when it's like a home service business card versus a miscellaneous one. Honestly, if I'm a business owner, there's a lot of like service businesses that have overlap. For example, like there's painting companies and then there's drywall companies who also offer painting as a service. So it's just more likely that from the business owner's point of view, like some of these businesses might be my competition. Why would I want to be on the card with them? So I personally just like the miscellaneous and it doesn't limit you at all. That's just me.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
One last question to that. Did one of you guys ever like have this case of like maybe yeah, let's stick to that example that you just brought up right now. A guy with like drywall stuff and like who was doing paint jobs on the side, but it's still heavily like involved to his website or like whatever. Because this was like some business that I contacted, um, it would have been this kind of scenario where I was like, contemplating is it like possible to do that because it's not their main thing, but they still offer it on the side. But there's like many businesses that do here, that do that kind of stuff here. Like their main thing is this, but they offer like a variety of smaller things because I don't know, they just have the manpower or they learned how to do it and they know it brings money or whatever. So
Yeah.
has any of you had the situation when pitching an actual business owner?
I've
How did
had
you
it a
handle?
few times. Definitely when you're pitching, don't overthink it. Just pitch to everyone until you have like money in hand. Don't assume that the plumber is committed. Don't assume that. And then when you do have, for example, I'll give you one example that I had. I had a personal trainer who had their own little gym, and for the most part, their clients were 65 years old plus. And then I also, a couple of weeks after I sent my cold email to a CrossFit, that CrossFit responded to me after I had already sold the slot to the personal trainer. the CrossFit all of a sudden was interested conveniently right after I closed the personal trainer. But I just went to the personal trainer and said, "Hey, I have this CrossFit here. Would it be a problem if they're on the card with you?" And they had no issues. So if you just have the conversation with the ones who already committed, and in a lot of cases they won't care. Like I had a painting company who does pressure washing. Their main thing was painting, but they also do pressure washing. And then a pressure washer wanted to join who only does pressure washing. They don't do any painting. And obviously the money's in the painting anyway. So the painter didn't care. He was totally fine with it. So just talk to the people who actually committed first. And in most cases, they'll be fine with it.
Gotcha. Perfect.
Yeah. Definitely don't overthink it when you're outreaching though. Just don't don't reach out to one plumber at a time and wait for them to respond. Reach out to a bunch. And in worst case, if you have multiple that are interested, you can leverage that. You can, whoever's slowest, just leverage it and say, "Hey, do you want to claim a spot now for next month so you don't miss it again?" Something like that. Yeah.
This was really dumb because I literally did this for like 2 or 3 people. Some out of my network, like an attorney that I know personally through like dog walking connections. We both are dog owners and stuff. And I was stupid enough to do exactly that, to like leave this niche untapped until I have a final answer from her, which isn't in my mailbox until this very day. So yeah, it wasn't that good of an idea. So I'm gonna write that down. That's really important for the next project because this didn't end up working really well. Just like because I was committed to like securing her the spot, she definitely wasn't as committed to like being gentle with my time in like this is a huge point actually.
Yeah, always leverage the competition angle, always. And like Mitchell said, if you don't got money in hand, it's not sold, and then you have every right to try to sell that to somebody else. And always gauge the interest of somebody, right? So if somebody's like really on the edge but still hesitant, I'd angle for the competition. Hey, I got to get this thing sold. I'm talking to 2 other painters. I need an answer today. Let's do this, or I'm reaching out to them, and obviously not in a rude way. You do it in a, just explain, basically portraying them. Look, I got to sell, and you're not committed. You haven't given me a deposit. What's the hesitation here? What's holding you up, right? And they're going to they might tell you, they might beat around the bush, and you just got to identify what the costs are. I mean, not the cost, what the issue is. And it's probably the cost or just the timing. And if it's timing, I don't know that you get over the timing thing. But cost, you can always word it right to get them to say, all right, yeah, let's do this, right? I mean, because if they're at that point, my opinion is if that's a point where it's either cost or the timing, then you've sold them. And it's not really the cost.
Exactly.
They're going to spend. You just got to get them to commit to it. And, maybe offer up, look, I'm only looking for 50% now. This thing's not going out for another couple of weeks. Payments due right after I finish your ad. Like, just get me the deposit today. Let's get this thing started. And, by the time this thing goes mail, we'll be all good. What do you guys, any of you sold my issue is I talked to a couple coffee shops and they're very, very hesitant on the pricing because of the cost of obviously their low margins on the coffees, right? They don't have huge ticket bills for each person. Do you guys give discounts? Do you not even target those kind of shops? Like,
I've had cafes buy full double slots, to be honest. They're the ones that
it might be my area.
Yeah, so they have high margins, but like you said, it's a low ticket cost.
Right.
But they're probably thinking how many people are right away going to look at the ad and come into the shop and buy a coffee. And they're assuming that they're selling one coffee to these people, which probably isn't true. If you ask them what their average ticket cost actually is, it's more than just a coffee. And also, so like coffee has really high margins. It's really, really cheap to make a coffee, and usually cafes sell them for like $6. So they can offer a discount on the coffee, which encourages people to buy food. So like you get honestly like a free coffee with the purchase of a sandwich, and the sandwich is where they can make their money. But it's also the lifetime value of the customer, because that customer on average is going to come into that store more than once, especially if it's a brand new customer. Now you have a customer that might come once a week for months. And so they're really thinking about it on one plane or on one pane of glass rather than the 5 panes of glass deep of the impact that it's actually having. And people aren't going to go in right away, so they're not going to see immediate results, but people might hold on to these cards because they're waiting to get that brand new roof 6 months down the line, and they want to use that discount and not lose it. So it goes a lot deeper. You just got to sell them on the depth of it. It's not just that one cup of coffee. But I have had that objection to answer your question.
Yeah, so one of the coffee shops I go to like daily. They're brand new, but they don't sell food as well. Like they're basically just coffee. So, but I want them on the card. So I'm probably gonna offer them a pretty deep discount because they're pretty decent. They're decent people, right? So, yeah. So I just there's another one that opened up a couple towns over that I wanted to go approach. I wanted to see if I would have better luck with selling them, on the idea. They look like they're full coffee food type place. So, just trying to get over that bump that I hit with the first one.
Yeah.
Solicit them. Cool.
Yeah, I mean for the new.
Sorry, didn't want to cut
No, you
off.
go ahead. You go ahead.
Related to this bundle thing that you was tapping in earlier, what do you actually, if you don't mind sharing that, what do you actually include other than like a sample of the card?
In the thing I send to businesses.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I wrote a letter introducing myself, my business, what I'm about, that I'm small. It's just basically me. I'm all about local, kind of summing up the, I realize the value in having local businesses, and that, a world without local businesses is a world without a soul type of stuff. I mean, it doesn't say that exactly, but it rounds it up. But tries to introduce myself as personal as I can get without sounding like I'm not trying to be desperate. Like, right? I'm not trying to sell them either. Like, this is me. I'm over here. This is my office. Come by sometimes. I've included some of the items that I can offer, and one of the main things, and then I segue into my 9x12. It says make sure you check out the the giant card that's included here. Let me know what you think, and then I give them a link to go to, my email, my phone, and then also I'll include. I put together a welcome to neighborhood card as well. That's is not very profitable at all. I'm not selling it to make any money. It's again putting somebody in my pipeline that down the road I can upsell something to, sell again, even if they just the welcome to neighborhood again. And then I include my digital services. I haven't sent any yet because I can't decide if I want to put a brochure in there of all my services or keep everything on a separate paper. Haven't decided yet, so I haven't actually sent the packet, but that's what the packet's going to be.
Okay.
And because I don't want to go at it. I don't want to feel too corporate, right? I'm not trying to be a corporate person, but I also need to have some level of professionalism. That it's like, not some guy out of a garage and with no experience and just gonna take my money and run, right? So it's like trying to find the balance.
Gotcha. That's gold. It was something that I experienced as well. This is really interesting because from what I hear, everyone in the US basically is talking about the exact opposite when it comes to like sending emails from personal account or business branded accounts. Here, at least in the town where I live in, I believe it's exactly the opposite. Those kind of people, they want to see that you're a legitimate business or like that you're somehow established or whatever before they even like consider giving you and your product a chance. this is what it feels like here. So I started basically not using like a corporate email, was using like a Gmail one and stuff like this. Didn't have my website up and stuff like this. And I don't think it was working too well for my demographic, but it depends. It could just be literally the town where I live in because it's special when it comes to this stuff.
That's actually a good point. Actually, I wanted to ask Mitchell, when you send emails, is it from a domain or is it like your personal Gmail or whatever it might be account?
I've done my real estate business email, which is a professional email, and I've also done it from Gmail, and I've seen practically the same results, I'd say, between both. And it's probably going to vary from town to town. My theory is that in a larger city, this is just a theory, but my theory is that in a larger city, businesses are going to want to see that you're more of an established business. But in a small town where it's more of a community vibe, I feel like more of a personal touch might be better. But that's just a theory. And,
Right? Yeah.
the first town I ever did it in was a small town, and I got a lot of response just with my Gmail. So yeah, probably varies a lot.
Yeah, I'm
City
going to
to
be
city.
hitting the email angle hard this week. I've got quite a few leads in my CRM ready to roll, and I got I'm big at. I kind of automated the system, so I just tag them, and then I pre-written my emails, follow up, and then as they reply to me, I take them out and handle it one-on-one. But that's to help serve time, really.
Yeah.
I rather spend the time in prospecting and serving people that have responded than trying to write 30, 40 emails a day and customize it. Because, in each email, I include the business name, obviously. And if I know the person's name, I'll address them as, hey, Bob. I think Bob's tiling will be great on my 9x12 here. Let's connect. That type of thing. So, and also the help against spam filters, because if you send the same message over and over again, it's gonna flag you. But I do send from a domain name. My domain name, it's actually the .net version of my .com, so that if I do get blacklisted, my main domain won't be affected. So trick there for
Smart.
everyone.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And in your initial script, do you mention the amount of doors it's going to? 5,000, 10,000?
For my whole county one, I just mentioned that I can cover the whole county.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yep. I try to, and I don't mention anything about pricing or anything. I just keep it, I'm trying to, my angle was to just, I'm putting this together. My business is on it. I want your business on it, basically. And I think your business, and my hope is by mentioning their name, their business name and or their name, if I can get it, it gives them the impression, hey, it's not just another salesperson, right? Or, he actually knows my business exists. It's not just a cold email that's blasted out there.
Yeah.
So, but I'm also kind of working on a like a call it like a newsletter, but it's more of a nurturing series. Also, that so my plan is that I have 2 weeks of follow up. So I email every 2 to 3 days for 2 weeks for a card. If they haven't responded, I end hey, this one didn't work out, it's already here. And if they're still on the list, I actually put them back in for the next month when I start to open up that card again. But I also have an email series of why this is going to work for them. So as I'm going and building this initial list, I'm nurturing these other businesses that didn't respond to me for whatever reason until I can get a hold of them. Basically my opinion is if they haven't hit the unsubscribe button or told me they don't want my emails, I'm going to email them. And, some people may not agree with that, but the option to unsubscribe is there. If they don't want my email, then I know not to bother them, right? And that's how it works. And I was looking at actually can spam rules because there's so much misinformation on can spam, and it's like you can cold email businesses commercial messages. And the only requirement is that you have clear, accurate information of who you are, so your business and your address, and a way for them to unsubscribe. It doesn't have to be a link. So like
Yeah.
my original version was a PS. Hey, this so I'm like, if this isn't for you, that's all right. I'm sure your competition won't mind. Just let me know. I'll remove you from my Rolodex or something like that. And,
Yeah.
but it was the key in there was your competition, right? So now if they're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't unsubscribe here. You know, let's see what he offers up coming up. Like try to keep them there because if I can keep messaging them, there's value there. And if it's automated, then it's not any more overhead, right? And that's I'm huge on automation.
Totally.
Tech. It's the tech in me. It's just how I am.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely something we're looking to build into the CRM as quickly as possible, is automating the most common use cases for automation with this business specifically, which would be the
Nice.
follow-up.
Are you gonna add in QR codes?
Like the ability to generate QR codes?
Yeah, right there in the CRM.
Yeah, I
Attach
can add
it to
that.
your contact.
I mean, that one's probably not too difficult, so that would be one of our smaller projects. But the biggest focuses are the AI and automation for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Gonna make sales a lot easier, I believe, because like I think this hybrid model thing, it doesn't have to like add like 3,000 parts. If it's like just those smaller things, so people can see, okay, this is not just a piece of paper. So actually, people have the possibility to like literally scan a code and like see whatever. If it's a lead funnel, if it's like a WhatsApp channel, if it's like a VSL letter on a landing page, if it's like opt in for a newsletter or whatever, it doesn't even matter. You can literally build products around this like in a year from now or maybe even 6 months. If this pilot project of like creating this hybrid model thing, I believe there is so much value in like things that you can pitch on like once all this is like really created, because like you can add literally an individual newsletter to this for every business, or like a link tree with like website offers, newsletter, whatever, for every single business on the QR code, which is right here on the ad. So
Yeah.
I believe this is like really huge and making sales much easier, because no one will be able to like bring this argument with like, no, I don't think print is working anymore. Well, guess what, bro? It's not even print. It's literally a digital asset. It's like I think this holds really much value.
And like you were talking about earlier with building something digitally at the same time, the best part about this card is it does the advertising for us. So an example could be like you just put a QR code on the card itself that says scan this for more deals, like you said, and it leads to a directory of businesses who are potentially paying us $50 a month to be on the directory, or just something really small. It's a little upsell that we can give to all these businesses, or don't even upsell them. But it would be nice if it's cheap enough per month for them to stay on it. It's nice for you guys to get a little bit of extra passive income out of it. And it's a directory that grows, and they're paying you to join. So it grows itself while you're making money, and it's getting a ton of link clicks. So it's actually building search engine optimization, especially if that directory leads to landing pages for each, or a blog post or something. I'm not an SEO expert, but it's getting a ton of traffic pushed there for free, and you're making money to push traffic to your own digital services. So it just grows itself. It's a snowball.
I gotta write that stuff down. It's crazy. What you dropped, what you dropped right now is gold. Like not even gold, it's a bunch of diamonds. Because like the most valuable thing for like, you will know this. You will know exactly. Probably you will even know it before I speak it out loud. But like the most valuable thing for local business websites are backlinks for SEO. And like with this, dude, you can literally build a network of like dozens or hundreds of backlinks, which businesses can literally in like a week or even a day or two get access to, buy access to, and like this can be so freaking sticky. This is crazy.
Hold on. I'll go deeper. I'll go even deeper. But this is getting chaotic. But
crazy.
On the directory, for for example, the painting company's article, there's a call to action to get a discount. How do you get this discount or offer? You have to post about them. You post on social media, and you have to tag the company. The company will then reach out to them with the code for that discount.
You're funny saying tagging them, because one of the things my card offers is a QR code for them to enter to win a cash prize sweepstakes. To enter, they do that. They take the card, they visit a business or take a service or order a service from the business, and they tag on social media my company and the business company with a picture of the card. Social, right? Right?
Yeah.
It's just tying everything together. And then, as soon as the website portion is, it all links back into the deals, where that deal will be listed on the site. And like you said, it's brilliant. It just ties everything nicely together. It all works independently, right? If they don't want the mailer, they can go to the directory and still get the benefits.
Yep.
Right? So it's just like you said, it's just a revenue stream of various parts that just tie and complement each other. And when you do it all, it's a really good system. And I think that a really key part about it, though, is to have the local portal that ties it together, right? Not just be another Yellow Pay or Yelp with a whole bunch of listings with no personality of each area. Like, tying it into the individual areas, I think, is key, because then you're able to run your marketing for specific areas. Hey, join this area's deal pages on my, I'm not going to tell you the website right now, but it's not hard to guess. I told you earlier, but and then they join that list,
Right
and
behind you.
all businesses that join, or all consumers that join that list for that area, that business will have access to the mail and their offer. So it's like, it's so exciting. I can't wait till I finish putting this all together and part of my service, because it's going to be so powerful. It's just going to be.
I got a local newsletter here, so like my local newsletters that we're over 3,300 subscribers right now
Nice.
in our city. And so we have like my small classified ads, 'cause I haven't added the other bigger ads. So those are starting to sell out, which is nice. But like I'm gonna do a discount card attached to my newsletter. So because I'm gonna do the
Ooh.
postcards, and so I can tie everybody in together, because like for I got like 6 gaming stores. When we're ready, they're gonna be on a discount card, because part of what we're gonna do is during Christmas time, we're just gonna run a whole promotion to go, get people to shop at these like indie bookstores and cards, because they're terrible at marketing and they want stuff. So everybody started signing up. So it's like, once the tech is up, I can get the backlinks, but I keep everybody kind of in motion. So people want to pay me $200 just to be attached to the card and they don't care. And then I just go like, hey, you want to do direct mail? You don't be attached to this card. And they'll just say, yeah, it's Christmas time. We need to sell turkeys. We need to sell, books, or
Nice.
in our space, like game stuff.
Sweet. That's great. It's good to have an asset like that you can leverage.
Yeah.
It's all about building assets, so you're not just relying on the grind. It's a grind for a few months, and you're building assets at the same time, so that eventually you can not step away, but you're much more leveraged with the assets that you have.
Yep. Exactly. That's exactly the game plan.
I got another question for you, Will. Did you ever like put your, just out of interest, because I'm contemplating doing that on the card that I'm gonna send out, because it seems as if until I finally move away from here, I won't be able to fill it out completely, and just to like leverage the time that I spent more than I was thinking I would spend on filling it up, I thought about like putting my web design and marketing business onto the card as an ad. Did you ever do that?
I haven't printed. I haven't actually filled the card yet. I have my samples and stuff, but I will put my business if I get very close to my cutoff time to get it to the printer and stuff. I probably actually will, until I have a steady flow of cards going out. I'm actually gonna just advertise the card. This spot right here, this one, it says how many I mail to it.
Yeah.
That's the old version. But I'll put that on the card in if there's two spots, or a smaller one if there's one spot. But um, I'm really focused on this side because this is gonna be a great asset that will power me bringing on additional staff to handle other parts of my business or even this part of the business and to grow my other assets I want. So this is really my main focus. But absolutely, once I'm in the position to, if I'm short on ad spaces, I'm either going to give it away, or if I want to grow, need another client or something in my business, that would be a self ad. But for my plan, it's mostly to pretty much leverage, give out spaces or severely discounted spaces to businesses if I run short on time. Because, like I said at the beginning, it's not about profit for me. It's about putting lifetime value customers in my pipeline, and recapturing that at a later date.
And Daniel, you already have the brand. Unfortunately, it sounds like you kind of got rid of it, but you can bring it back, and you have it can be more of a well-rounded agency rather than just a design agency. And that could be advertised like in the middle of the card, like usually I say like reach out to, I just give my phone number. I'm super unprofessional like that. But like you could brand it around your agency and include like offering web design, mail marketing, SEO, those services. That way you're not using a slot that could potentially drive revenue for you. And it gives you more, rather than you being one of the advertiser slots, you have more, you seem more legit when you're the one that sent the card out to 5,000 homes, if that makes sense. You're not an advertiser, you are the advertiser,
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. That's what I did on my card. My company is called Still Works Media LLC, and I run my mailer under American Mailbox Mailer. So on my cards, it has my logo for American Mailbox Mailer, and then I customize the mailer name. So like this one's the local business spotlight. So it has the specific areas, but my logo's on there. And then I have a call to action that says obviously advertise here, and calls my business number, which will connect them. So that's how I, for the mailer itself, it's always advertised because of the logo and everything. And it's the brand and cohesion between what people might see on my Facebook page, my website, or in the mail. And that's important to have that brand cohesion for any business, is that when they see your logo, they know immediately who they're thinking of, right? That's huge for any business.
100%. Yeah. And yeah, so I guess you could say like, let's say your agency name is Daniel's Agency. You could have your own name for the sector of your agency that does mail marketing. So you could say like Daniel's Mail Marketing, an arm of Daniel's Agency. So you have that, because if you already have that, I'm not sure how big your agency was, but if you have that brand awareness already with your web design agency, then you might as well leverage it.
It was like more in a B2B area that wasn't like the area of my customers, but like fellow business owners in like more of a digital space in like actually the Chamber of Commerce that I was part in, but I didn't really think about leveraging this or like acquiring new customers for the card. But the thing is, I already have like this bar in the middle filled out with like I don't even know if it's possible to read this.
Yeah,
like
something spotlight.
The name of the project, but as you say it right now, I will just literally remodel this bar in the middle and like split the brand awareness between the project name handle and like the name of my agency, which is if I would like translate it, give me a second. The name is literally really simple. Like that's the name. In German, it's called Sichtbar Simple, which translates perfectly to like really simple. That's the name of the agency. It was free as like a domain. I just took this because it's really simple, as the name says, and like I think I will just remodel this. This is good.
Yeah, but your card's double-sided anyway, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. You have extra space.
Would you like So,
Yeah, I muted him.
would you like keep the middle bar like the same on both sides, or like back and the front, or like did you ever like play around with like adding some certain details on the back that you didn't add in the front or something like this?
Yeah, so mine was Portsmouth Spotlight, and then it would say like call or text, my phone number, and then the indica or indicia. And then on the back, it would be support local businesses, and then it would have the call to action just to call me again. So they were pretty much this, they're not the same on both sides, but I'd say if you could get your agency branding on both sides, if you could somehow format it to do that, then you're probably better off that way, so it doesn't get missed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I will find a way to do that. That's gold. Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
This has been a good call. 2 hours.
Gold
Not
nuggets.
bad. Yeah. Probably our best call yet, I'd say. Anybody?
Do you think it's smart to work multiple regions
What do you
at a
mean?
time? Like, so I have, I have my immediate region, and then that are more local to me. Because the size of my area, I struggle with how many people and businesses are actually immediate to me. So I've got to go outside my area to like bigger counties with bigger cities.
Yeah.
Do you think it would be wise to work multiple areas at once, or?
I'd say the more you can keep things adjacent, the better. Like for example, me, I'm just targeting towns because it sounds like we're a little bit more population dense than you are, but I keep the towns close together. I still try to target like higher income towns and things like that, but close enough that there could be some overlap, more of an ecosystem between businesses. So your business might want to target York 1 month and then Portsmouth the next month. So it's easier to keep them in your ecosystem when because some businesses don't want to stay in the same town every month. They just like the idea of bouncing around. So you give them that option. At least they're staying in your ecosystem. Makes it a little bit easier to keep your cards full versus just doing one in Los Angeles and then one in New York City. Then
Right.
yeah, there's no overlap.
Okay. Makes sense. Cool.
One last question that I would have. I'm not gonna open this up in the call because I assume this would be like the third hour full. But like I would do a post later on in the community and like just ask randomly for like the best like niches, branches, businesses that any of you guys like already closed, just as like some creational inspiration. So if any of you would not mind, I will literally do the post in like a minute or two, and just like comment whatever like business was the easiest to sell for you, was like the most understanding of the concept or anything like that. Hit me up in every angle you can literally think about. I would really appreciate that.
Cool. I got some ideas. Do you guys have real estate agents over there? What's it
Yeah,
like
we
there?
definitely do. I already spoke to one, but literally got ghosted, and then I forgot about it. But I will definitely be after that one as well because they have the money. It's just like
Yeah.
in my eyes, there's some businesses that you just need to explain it very well, and then it's just like, do they have capacity right now, and do they get it? If
Yeah.
yes, and yes, they're sold literally.
For realtors, the hardest part is just going to be getting them to commit their time to talking to you because they're talking to so many people on the phone. They're getting pitched all over the place. So the value's there. They're not going to have a problem with the price, the value. It's just like getting them to commit because part of committing is like, oh, do I have to design my own ad? Blah, blah, blah. So you just want to make it as hands off as possible for
Yeah.
them so they don't have to think about it because they're already thinking of a million things. Their own social media posts, the contract that they're under contract is falling apart on this house over here. There's a million things and they can't possibly think of adding another different detail that isn't usually in their life. Adding another detail is just too much. So if you could just keep it completely hands off and reach out to them again, you're good. They probably just like forgot about you, and there's so many moving parts.
You added another idea to my head right now because I got some contacts into like the whole ecosystem of like this region's real estate stuff because some childhood friends of mine, their dad is like huge in like real estate here, like 3-figure million stuff. They're like crazy. They literally at one point they literally went in like one street in the city, one bigger, and like just accumulated like half of the road, literally, like insane amounts. And like I was thinking about adding them, but I don't think this will be the right market or the demography where I send it to. But maybe they can hook me up with some like. I'm gonna check that, but I think I will just do that on Monday. Literally go door to door just for like real estate agents until I close one. That's it. I don't care. I'm gonna go get one.
They'll be your easiest close if you can hit them at the right time.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay.
In the afternoon. Hit them in the afternoon.
Afternoon, you say? Okay.
Yeah.
Mitch, how do I access this recorded call or like the notes that I see it's taking after?
I think the notes, those are people like they have accounts for different AI note takers, but you can access the call. I'm going to post it on the YouTube channel, and I'll probably send out a bulk message to everyone when I post it on the YouTube channel. And then in terms of notes, you could probably, I think just look up YouTube video to transcript on Google, and there's free ones online. Copy the link to my YouTube video and put it into there. It'll give you the transcript, and copy that to ChatGPT and say, give me the best notes, and then it'll give you notes.
Okay, dope. Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm gonna add something to this, what I found out, because I was literally asking myself for like months how I was able to like get the transcripts off of YouTube to like do the same stuff with like valuable videos about like literally every case that could possibly come to my mind. And there is services for this as well for like YouTube where you just like copy paste the URL and like you get the transcript, you can download it in like TXT and can like paste it into ChatGPT. If anyone like search for something like that, you can just like hit me up later on and I can send you the link to one of the tools.
Yeah.
It really helps.
Yeah, it's crazy how much tech has made things crazy easy compared to like 3 or 4 years ago. Like life is completely different if you're using it. It's crazy. What do you guys say? You ready for lunch?
Wait, what time is it in the States right now?
Where I am, it's 12:45, and it's just about lunchtime.
Right, it's like 5 to 6. That's so crazy. It's like 18. Like it's 6:44 in the afternoon right now here in Germany. It's so interesting.
Yeah.
Lunch does sound good.
All right. Well, this was great, guys. Thanks for being here. All of you guys are here like the whole time. Nice. And good luck this week. Make some sales. Blake, send your first email right now. Literally copy my script. Find one random business in your town and send the script. 97% chance they won't respond, but at least you did that first step.
All right, I'll do it.
Got it? Sweet.
Thanks.
All right.
Guys.
Take care, guys.